my local club. I used to go with my dad, and that's when they played in blue.
And I guess that's why they call it the blues. Time on my hands, could be time spent with you. Laughing like children, living like lovers, rolling like thunder under the covers. And I guess that's why they call it the blues.
Guess that's why they call it the blues. You forget how many brilliant songs that man has written. Yes. There are many questions. There are many questions. One is, why is Justin wearing dark glasses? We'll get to that in a minute. But I think we probably have to, even before we get to that, deal with the big news of the day, because there's, as ever with Watford, there's some brilliant stuff, and there's some contentious stuff, and there's some bits that make you go, hey, what? Who? Why? Who decided that? Never mind. The blue kit has been launched. We've all been calling it waiting for a third kit, but it appears that it's not a third kit. It is an exclusive one-off kit, as per in the Watford Observer, has said that it's going to be worn on Saturday against Blackburn, and that's its single appearance, which has kind of made a lot of people go, oh, okay, that's a bit odd. It's also odd because the price, having put it out and said, well, this looks nice, bearing in mind I put that out at 9:01 this morning because I hadn't had a chance to go onto the Hornet shop just like everybody else and go, 76 quid? What? That does seem steep. I would love to know what the rationale is behind that, as opposed to £60. A lot of people came back and went, yeah, it's very nice, but not at that price. Other people, it has to be said, have said, look at it. Isn't it gorgeous? Take my money. And quite right. I do understand both sides of that. People's opinion are their opinion. But I think it's an odd one, that I think such a nice kit, and bearing in mind how much effort and therefore cost must have gone into the design element of this. This isn't a criticism. This is praise for what they've done. To use it for a one-off feels almost like a waste. I think most people, or a lot of people, I would imagine, will probably look at that and go, we get it. We get the point. It was the kit when he first went in the 50s. It was our old kit prior to 1959 when we went across to gold, as it was, rather than yellow, but it's kind of morphed over time. I get it, but isn't it a lovely kit? Doesn't it look like a good away kit? And yet we're only going to use it once. What were your thoughts on it, Justin, before we get to your looking through the future's so bright, you've got to wear shades?
Yes.
I remember the lyric there.
Timbuk 3. Yes, I remember that song. So I like it. I think it's really, really nice, but I think it's a shame it's only going to be used in one game. It does seem odd to be used in a game, no disrespect to Blackburn at all, but Blackburn at home, in sort of mid-September. What's the relevance of that, the significance of that? I would have thought it would have been better to have had some sort of charity match at the end of the season, possibly against our, friends from up the M1 or something, and use it, well, as an example, Peter. Anything I think might be better than a one-off appearance in a championship game this early in the season that doesn't really mean anything. I also wonder whether it's ever going to be reduced in price, or whether it's always going to be £76. At the end of the season, sometimes shirts get reduced to 25 quid and you think, well, that's my price point, I will now get one. I'd rather get the feeling that might not happen with this if it's a one-off limited edition type shirt. Will I be buying it? Probably not. I think it is a little bit on the expensive side for my tastes, but I totally get why we've done it, and I do like it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those ones. I've got other sort of limited edition shirts that I don't ever wear and probably never will. Like I've got the red one that was used for Nigel Gibbs's second testimonial back in 2002. I've never worn it. It's just sitting in the cupboard, and I imagine if I bought one of those, exactly the same thing would happen. I don't think there'll be any inherent value going forward on Antiques Roadshow or whatever it is in 200 years' time. Going, oh, there was a very popular musician around who used to own a football club, and these are quite rare. So, is there any value in it? If you like it and you want to buy it and you want to spend £76 on it, fair play. I think you've done a very good thing, but will I be buying it? Probably not. No.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think the scarcity value and the one-off element to it, and of course, Elton's also got a retail range of a lot of things, of which, for your common or garden person, of which I
He's
am
got
absolutely.
glasses and Specsavers. I was in Specsavers the other day. There's an Elton John range of,
Yes.
of spectacles. I mean, he had a thing in Selfridges as well, didn't he? Where he
Yes,
had like handbags and God knows what else. So he's very, very cleverly marketing himself now. He's not touring anymore. Fair play.
He is indeed. He is indeed.
Yeah.
And Christian here, Christian Visor, hello Christian, says £76 because of 1976 when Elton first bought the club. Still,
Well, why not
pricey.
1,000? Why not £19.76 then? Why? You know, I just think £76 for a shirt is top end. It really, really is. Especially when it's only going to be. If it was a special game, you'd go, okay. If we got through to the, let's say we get through to the playoff final, and we play in the playoff final in that shirt and we win, you go, iconic, absolutely iconic shirt. But a one-off game against Blackburn in September, not for me.
It also begs the question, because in the press release that it said was, this is the start of the celebrations moving towards the 50th anniversary of him taking over the club. So I get that, but we're at year 49, surely. So it's an odd one to have something to commemorate his 50th year a year sort of early, if that makes sense, or partially a year early, to then make it, well, it's £76. Well, why are we doing it in 2025 then, the game? It would make sense to have a few more games that went into 2026, and then it would feel like it was moving towards it. It's not a criticism, and it's certainly not a criticism of Elton John, by the way, because to be quite frank, if Elton John picked out a bowl of fruit pastels and told me I had to buy every one for £200, he's done enough of my life to do it. You know, no throwing at him. He's also come up with, or involved with, one of the best looking kits, and I appreciate some people think it's. I spoke to some people who just go, yeah, it just looks like a Leicester kit. Opinions will differ. For me, I really like it. Melanie, but wait, what? Such a waste. It's the best shirt this season. Absolutely.
I agree with that. I agree with that, man. I mean, if we think back to the 4th of August when the home kit was launched, the outcry from people going, oh my God, that logo on that shirt, absolutely horrible. You know, for one season, could we not have been blue? If we are going to celebrate 50 years, I don't know if you have to register with the FA or whatever the FA. There's probably logistical reasons why you can't go blue for a season. But could we not have had that as our home shirt for a season, or could we not do more with it? A one-off game, it's a waste. It absolutely is a waste. I totally agree with Melanie.
Well, John Parslow did post up on our Telegram group, and he basically posted up the one without the sponsor, and he said, "Here I am. This is the one I've opted to buy. I've opted to buy the one with Mr. Q in blue on it." Which I thought was excellent. This has been the one where Mr. Q did make a concession, and I imagine they've done that because it's Elton and it's a one-off, and they would rather be on a shirt that looks good when all of the obvious kind of notoriety will come around for this event. So PR and all of that. Well done, club. Well done, Elton. Well done. And in fairness, well done, Mr. Q. You know, I spoke to Sabas before, and he was a perfectly nice guy, but he'd said before, we need to have blue. We need to have blue. We need to have blue. Well, how do you put blue on a blue kit? Well, you know, it's kind of one of those things, isn't it? I have to, we do have to deal, I think, with the obvious thing, because a certain Gary has said, and tonight's special guest is Roy Orbison. Anything you want, you got it. Can you just explain, and then we'll carry on, why it is you are looking like a member of the Travelling Wilburys? And Louis Teixeira, look up Travelling Wilburys.
Yeah. It's actually more to do with Stevie Wonder than Roy Orbison, unfortunately. Back in 2021, I had a detached retina in my right eye, so that was sorted with surgery at Moorfields Eye Hospital. Thank you to the guys at Moorfields, absolutely fantastic. About 3 weeks ago, I developed a posterior vitreous detachment in my left eye. To cut a long story short, everybody is born with this sort of jelly-like substance on the back of their eye. It falls off when you get to a certain age. Most people don't notice it. Yes, I have. Yes, I've battled the Wi-Fi. It's just
well said, John. Well said.
Yeah. So that what's happened is the jelly has fallen off, and it's done something to my eye, and I've got bits floating in my eye, and I can't see properly out of it. And it got worse today. I had to go back to the hospital today, and they said, yes, you've had another case of it. So I can see very little out of this left eye at the moment anyway. But they put these drops in your eye that open your pupils up to the size of saucers, and so putting a bright light right in my face was never going to be a good idea. So yes, that's why I'm wearing shades at the moment. They are prescription. They are very focal. So my right eye is fine and I can see everything clearly, but my left eye is a bit dodgy at the moment.
May I point out that when Justin is talking about jellies floating around in his eye, that's nothing to do with the fruit pastels that I've been buying off of Elton John for £200 a pop. Entirely different kind of jelly, very
Indeed.
biological and all of that.
Indeed.
Is Wendover says, "Hey guys, well done." Now Wendover has been, kind of talking about the price of everything, and over a period of about 4 hours, I think he talked himself up into going, "Oh, sod it, I'm getting it."
If anyone is buying that shirt, it is Greg Thieker. If anyone's buying it, it's him. I'm sorry.
You know that Greg's modus operandi is to basically walk into the shop about 4 minutes before all the shirts are taken off to be able to be taken off to.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
I don't think that's going to happen. That ain't going to happen with this. This is going to be
I don't think so.
£6, I think, throughout. I can't see it being reduced. I really can't, unless they sell 3 and they've got to get rid of them. I can't see it happening.
More people getting in on the Roy Orbison bandwagon.
Thank you.
You can tell something about the average age of everybody who listens to this is that they go, "Oh, shades, Roy Orbison." I'm sure there'd be somebody more contemporary for Louis and indeed Rio, who we'll get to. Yeah, 70. Let's get to Rio. He said, "How's it going to work as Blackburn playing blue? Maybe they're wearing their away kit. Do you think? Yes, that's exactly what they'll do. Don't forget, we've got previous with this. It's a yellow. It's a yellowy gold. Ironically.
Ian from Blackburn did a tweet earlier going, game's gone. Watford playing in blue, Blackburn playing in yellow on Saturday. Game's gone. So I guess that's probably what will be happening. We'll be playing in blue and they'll be playing in yellow, which is going to be a bit odd at home. But
we've got previous for wearing our kit at home. In the time when ITV Sport, when that sort of went all wobbly and went bust under Gianluca Vialli, we had a black away kit. With the Toshiba one, everybody liked it, and we also bought out a really rare red one. I know, yeah, you probably have.
Lovely.
Anyway, we wore that for the first time at home against Preston on a Sunday night, and under what the old floodlights were sort of, let's face it, past their sell-by date at the time, and we were wearing all black. It was 0-0, and you can understand why ITV Sport soon went bust thereafter. We also had was it 2018 or 2014? 2014 it would be, wouldn't it? Where we had the original black and white stripe to echo back to 1914. So 2014 was the anniversary, and we wore that up and again played Millwall for the remembrance game. And if you remember, the 1881 did that amazing black and white with the poppy motif, which was simply stunning, and we don't talk about it enough.
We also wore the black and white one against Middlesbrough, was it?
We did indeed, for the 100 years of the that was 2022, wasn't it? Because it was 1922 when we moved to the Vic. So there you go. Oh, there you go. So that's what's going to happen. Everybody turn up and bring your blue scarf. Oh yeah, hold on, that's not going to work, is it? Well, it doesn't matter. Just turn up and wear your one-off cheery disposition, as Elton is supposed to be coming along. Fingers crossed, obviously. Now, talking about somebody who's had poor eyesight and poor health, he has not been in the greatest of health, and his eyesight has been poor. So hopefully he'll be able to get along and see at least most of the game. So there we go. What's this? What's this? Who remembers Peters and Lee? I remember Peters and Lee.
Yeah, if you go to a charity shop, you guarantee as you go through the albums, among the Des O'Connor and the Engelbert Humperdinck, there's always Peters and Lee albums, and Captain and Tennille, who I never have heard of, but their charity shops are full of their albums. I will bore you with all of this another day.
Absolutely. Well, don't forget. Well, the reason why was I can't remember which one was Peters and which one was Lee, but there was a very attractive blonde lady and a guy who was basically, he was
like a taxi driver, didn't he?
Yeah, basically. And they sang, and the old joke was basically that after they split up, Lee went solo and Peters went straight into a wall. But I mean, that's not for me to know or say, oh, that's me being shot for something else. I'll digress and say hello to Elliot. Hello, Elliot. Lovely to see you. Right, okay. Let's get across then to the next things. I think we've done the blue shirts. It's sort of odd. It's sort of not it's sort of not 1976 or 50 years after yet, which seems odd. A lot of people think it would be good to get a bit more out of it. However, who knows? Maybe your eBay value in a few years' time will be enormous because it's such a one-off. I don't know how these things work. Who knows? But before we get to start to talk about the game and have a chat with the aforementioned Mr. Ian Herbert of 4,000 Holes Blackburn, I think it's a good thing to just talk about some of the things that are going on at the club. We always talk about, we're supposed to be the original family club. We're supposed to be the community club. And we absolutely, genuinely still are. Now, if you didn't know about it, the game against Southampton, because it was a 3 o'clock kickoff, at 12 o'clock, there was the opening of the fan or family zone, whichever you want to call it, relocated from the Cornerstone Church, which would have been obviously near the family stand, which would have been good from a Junior Hornets point of view, but it's now down below and behind the Rookery, because what they're doing is they're doing very clever stuff with parking. Hey, why am I telling you this? I'm going to introduce you now to Dave Newman, because I popped down there just so you could see where it is, what's going on, and have a look.
Okay, so here I am at the fan zone with Dave Newman. Dave, it's all going well. What are your thoughts on everything first time?
Yeah, really good, to be honest. As you can see, lots of activities for the kids, the family. We've got the live 12:30 kickoff on here as well. Food and beverage available for people to purchase at a reduced price from inside the stadium as well. Something we wanted to do for a long time, but finding space has obviously been difficult for us. We worked with the church for a number of seasons doing stuff over there, but for us now it's a case of we found some space here, we've made some logistical changes, and we've got this space permanently, and today was about setting it all up, see how it went, to then do this every home fixture.
Fantastic.
Going forward.
And for half time, because obviously we've got the refreshment van over there, who might become a regular, but you've got the bar. Let me just go and show everybody where there's the bar there. This area is going to be open for 100 or so people, I believe, to come out.
Yeah, so we're going to trial this today. We're going to open it up to 150 to sort of relieve the pressure inside a little bit, with the plan then to extend that should it be wanted. Also then to look at whether we actually keep the activities going right through till the end of the game as well.
Fantastic.
So it's all trial stuff that we're doing today to see how it goes.
Okay. So there's another option also for those people who want to come out at half time and have a cigarette, for example.
Exactly. If you come out here, obviously you can
facilitate that, whereas it's a non-smoking stadium.
Yeah, and hopefully facilitate the queues a little bit as well to help manage that.
Of course.
And also then if people are with kids and stuff, there'll still be some stuff that we can do. As I say, that won't be in place for today. Today is just to trial the space to see what we can do, and then to look to try and extend it over the coming fixtures.
Fantastic. Well, David, it's a very encouraging start. Here we are quite early on, but I'm sure it's going to get even more packed later on. So it seems to be going very well done. Well done, sir.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
There you go. So that family zone is, let me just put that back up quickly with the detail on it. Hold on. Let me just add that to the stage because I just put a little bit in there at the end. So they're looking to run it from 12 noon for all 3 p.m. kickoffs. Obviously, earlier kickoffs, we're going to have to look out for things that are going on. But, the ideal has got to be, this is a fantastic facility. We've long kind of, Justin and I have moaned on about it, and other people have moaned on about it as well. Said, wouldn't it be great to have a fan zone? Be great to have it directly outside the bunker, but that's an exit route that is kind of you basically just can't put people there, unfortunately. But what they've done is they've played really clever with the staff parking, which is what we'd normally do. So they're inconveniencing themselves in order to have that there. And the more it gets supported, the more the club will sort of invest in it. Now, they were having discounted beers. I don't know whether or not that would still be the case. I'm not sure. I doubt it. And there's a food van, and people were going, "Oh, that's rather expensive." And I get that, But of course, the more people go down there and show that there is an opportunity to do it, and the more we voice it towards the club, if you think you can support this, to get down earlier on match day and sense that feel of community and be that sense of community, that could really be something which could be excellent. So there we go, 12 o'clock from Saturday. On Saturday, it will also be there for away fans as well, because it's a communal, it's a family thing. You'll have seen the various things that they've got there for the kids. There was the dartboard with the footballs, and I caught it just as somebody, I don't know who he was. He got a bullseye, so he was very happy. So I've kind of immortalised that. If you could get down even earlier, there's something else that we all enjoy. I was talking about the 1881 and the fantastic tifo that they did, back to commemorate the First World War piece. There's another thing that we kind of take for granted, which is you go in and there's the flags, etc. Now, before this, I went in and I had a chat with Mr. Phil Williams. Just have a look and see whether or not this might be something that just once a season you might think you could do, or maybe twice or 3 times. Who knows?
Morning. Here we are, Vicarage Road 2025 season, home match versus Southampton. Today we're putting the flags out. There's 5 of us putting the flags out today, as you can see. 5 of us doing this many flags. It's not that easy, but really we do appreciate any help we can get, any help at all. As you know, we are the 12th man. Every time, if we can get an extra 1% out of each player by cheering them on, or when they come out the tunnel, they see the flags and they think, yes, that's us, that's our job. And all the help we can get to do that job is greatly appreciated. I know a lot of you can't get here early. A lot of you have to get away straight after the game. Appreciate that. But those of you who can come down and help us at 11:30 on a match day, if it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, or stay at the end of the game. Even if you can't, at the end of the game, just grab the flag, give it a little roll up, pop it at the end. If you can, pop it in the bins. But if not, roll them up, put them at the end. It really, really does help us. Thank you very much for everything. And come on, you horns.
Like I say, could you help with the flags one week? Could you, get down there and do that? There were 5 people putting it out. We'll also have something next week or the week after. Next time, just putting it out as a reminder from Swampy and Emily, who were there. They'd gone the previous game. They'd gone to the QPR game and helped, and there she was back again. And Emily is a youngster, so it was literally the family club in there and doing it. And there were various people doing it, and fair play to them. When of course we all go in, even if you can't get there. Can you roll it up at the end, or can you bring it to the end of the row? It just helps those people. We don't really think about it, but of course they're getting there at 11:30, and then they've got to try and clear it all up as well. So anything that we can do to help them is all very good, I reckon. Rio's made a very fair point here, which is possibly a concern. We haven't won in a kit that isn't our home one for 543 days. Rio, that is a level of statistics that I, as an Excel enthusiast, applaud.
How does he know this? Can I just have a very quick word about Rio? He's thinking about doing something on the blue shirt that I think is genius. Rio, what you're thinking of doing, do it. There you go. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
When he does it and he unveils it, you'll go, oh, yeah, that's clever.
Okay.
He messaged me earlier and said, I'm thinking of having this put on the back of the blue kit. And I went, good idea. So do that, Rio. That's
With a reasonable sense of foreboding, I look forward to seeing that.
You will. You'll enjoy it when you see it. Yeah.
Let's see what else. Elliot said the family zone is great. Yeah, absolutely. Walk past the football table. I really felt like having a quick game. Well, look, sir, if I'm down there, football, you're on. I'm shite, but never mind.
No, you're one of those people that spins it. I know you. I reckon you're a spinner of those things. That's how I reckon you play football. I reckon you spin it.
No, basically, I go up and go, you see, I wouldn't play that formation. And then
you wouldn't play a 2-4-2. No,
pretty much. Justin looking like a pop star tonight. There you go.
Yeah,
what drug addled, I would suggest. So there we go. Anyway, let's start thinking about our game to come. So, as you all know, the opposition view, the big point about all of this thing is to find out what's happening in the other camp. Some things are good. Some things not, depending on which camp you talk to. We've spoken to Blackpool. We've spoken to various clubs who've had issues with owners. We have only got empathy for that. Here, we spoke to an old friend of the podcast. Let's get in and talk to Mr. Ian Herbert. Oh, here we are with friend of the podcast, i.e. somebody daft enough to keep coming back, Mr. Ian. And why isn't it showing?
I don't know. I thought it was my eyes, Peter. I thought it was these sunglasses.
Well done, everybody. You're watching this in just in vision.
Yeah, you are.
Let me add this in again. Hold on.
There's a sing or something while you do that, or tell a joke or something.
Yeah, go on, tell a joke.
Okay, so I bought a calendar the other day, and the 5th month was missing. I was dismayed. Are we there? Are we there? No,
that's not good. That's
okay.
Not good. Right, let's see if this will now work. Here we are with friend of the podcast. Friend of the podcast, i.e. somebody. There you go. It is working. Other people may be interested, and that's why we're recording this when we're recording it, because Ian's not given up on the national team, despite Thomas Tuchel's best efforts. But there we go. So, sir, it's here we are, a few games in. Tell us first of all, how has everything gone at Blackburn so far this season? And then we'll get to riff on the pain in a minute.
Plump up your cushions, sit back, everybody, and prepare your luggles for this. We completely overhauled our squad. So last season, I think we're at a point where, having been in the playoffs for 20 minutes on the final day, you thought, well, maybe we're getting somewhere. We just need a couple little additions here and there, and we can make a solid push. And it seems that the word has come down from Venkis that thou shalt cut thy wage bill dramatically. And so we've got rid of anybody who earns more than the minimum wage, it feels like. And as a consequence, we've been scouring European second and third divisions, trying to bring in bargain players. So the squad that we've got this season is it's an unknown quantity. We need a lot of these gambles to pay off, I think, to give us comfort. I was starting, dare I say, after we won away at Hull to get, well, maybe, just maybe this might work. And then on transfer deadline day, as we were recording our last episode of 4,000 Holes, we sold Dom Hyam. So we started the podcast, well, maybe, who knows? And then we ended the podcast with, oh, Lordy, it's all going to go wrong again, isn't it? It's a massive unknown quantity. I think Rovers were always something of a brittle proposition. You're never sure what you're going to get. But even more so now because we've just got so many gambles that will be in the first 11. So you're not bringing 2 or 3 in and putting them in your squad and giving them 20 minutes here and 20 minutes there. We are reliant that they come into the first 11 and hit the ground running. And it's going to be an interesting season.
Yes, the loss of Mr. Hyam. Let's start with the departures because, as you say, there's
a lot of them.
there's been some what I can only describe as enthusiastic pruning of the squad. Of these guys who've gone out, John Buckley going to Al Khaloud. That's good. I like that. But out of these guys, the one that really jumps up to me is Tyrese Dolan. Obviously, Andy Vyman, we've spoken about beforehand because obviously he had 25 minutes at Watford, like most managers. Lewis Travers going off to Derby. So, there's a few players on there who are reconnecting with Mr. Eustace. That'll be an interesting bit to explore how that is. Who are you going to miss the most? And then we'll get into who are you hopeful from the arrivals.
Well, everybody was saying, we feared for having lost Danny Bart and that he would affect Dom Hyam because Dom Hyam is a far more solid proposition when he's alongside Danny Bart. So we've obviously solved that problem by getting rid of both of them. We'll start with a completely new centre-back pairing now. So I think the loss of Dom Hyam in and of itself is not critical, except for the timing of it, which meant that we couldn't bring anybody in. So now you've already got fans looking through the lists of free agents and coming up with names like Craig Dawson and saying, could he do a job for us? And I guess the answer is he could do a job. Would it be a good job, though? That's the question. I think Lewis Travis, when your skipper leaves, that speaks volumes that he thinks he's better off playing for John Eustace again. So Bart and Vyman and Travis have all gone to Derby County to reacquaint themselves with John Eustace. Tyrese Dolan is one of those Marmite type players. When he's good, he's really, really good and everybody loves him to bits. And when he does 47 step overs and then passes to their centre back, I think he probably needed a fresh start. He's going to be very, very difficult to replace because we're not prepared to spend any money. So we're bringing in players, as I said, that are gambles. We hope that they might come off and they might find a system to play. So there's a massive, massive burden on Todd Cantwell, that natural leader of men and sort of pillar of fortitude in midfield to see us through this season. So, it's going to be interesting, as I keep saying.
I won't have a bad word said about Flouncy Todd. Yes, big fan, obviously. Let's get a look at some of these players then who are going to be having to step into these slightly more expensive to maintain shoes, presumably, because, as you say, some of them are coming in from interesting places. Legia Warsaw. Now, I've got no idea. Morishita, yes, but Ryoya, is it?
Yes.
I don't know.
He's already being called Roy of the Rovers because I think that makes it easier then, but it's Ryoya of the Rovers. I'm not quite sure. One of the two.
You cannot fault the intelligence of football, kind of football supporters. Andri Gudjonsson from Ghent.
Ida Gudjonsson's son.
Yeah. Oh, is that who he is? Oh,
yes.
I see.
Yes.
Well,
so he knows Lancashire. So.
Well, Ida Gudjonsson was famous for playing for, I think it was for Iceland, with his dad.
With
He
his
came
dad,
on as
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder, is there a third generation of Icelandic royalty coming in?
Let us
You've
hope
had a
so.
look at him. Do you think so?
Well, we haven't seen him yet. So
Oh, right. When did he get pulled? When did he get pulled in?
late in the window.
Oh.
So he may well make his debut on Saturday. So everybody's been scouring YouTube, but of course that means nothing, doesn't it? In the great scheme of things,
No.
He doesn't have the best goal record, shall we say? But then again, none of our forwards have the best goal record, so he'll fit right in, I'm sure.
That'll be all right. Sidney Tavares is a great name from Moreirense in Portugal. So
Originally of Leicester City.
Oh,
So he came through Leicester City's academy and then went to Portugal.
But it does sound so much. It sounds so much more exotic if you don't mention Leicester in this whole equation. Lewis Miller, I know he was quite highly rated at Hibernian. I was quite impressed that you got him actually when I saw.
Yeah,
that.
high hopes for him, but we shall see.
Absolutely. But you've been spending kind of like $500,000 to $1 million on players, which is, I have to say, more than an awful lot of the ones that we've been spending on, other than our Antipodean friend, the wonderfully named Nestri Irankunda, who scored for Australia today against Darren Baisley. Everybody, wonderful picture of Irankunda scoring a fabulous breakaway goal, and then it turns to Darren Baisley looking absolutely like somebody has just shat in his tea. Not good. Never mind. Sorry, Bays. Absolute hero he was, but never mind. So there we go. So let's get on to the question about, obviously, those former Watford connections, the manager being the principal one, and of course you're currently in 19th, I think it is. How
embryonic table, early days. Yeah,
early days.
Too soon to count for anything, but yeah, we are.
How well is he being looked at? Because as you said, you sort of got close to it, but we found Ismael sort of hard to love, if that makes sense. How are Blackburn feeling about their manager currently?
Yeah, I think that's a very fair description, to be perfectly honest. When he first came in, we had a dreadful run, and he couldn't get a result out of the team, and ultimately that cost us a playoff place. He eventually got us playing. Curiously, we had a run of results at the end of the season, like 4 wins and a draw in the last 5, or maybe 5 straight wins, even something like that. Seems a long time ago now. And that meant we still had something to play for on the last day of the season, which was astonishing, really, considering the rotten run of form that we had in February and March. The fact we were still in there. So I think people thought he's useless. Oh, maybe he's not that bad after all. Well, maybe there's something there. And then we've seen the squad overhaul. And what we don't know as supporters is the extent to which he's complicit in that. So did he sign up sort of recognising that there's going to be a massive overhaul, and he was given the opportunity to influence the players that are coming in which case then, he's culpable, he's on the hook, and he's got to deliver. It's very, very, very early days, but as we say, there's a lot of players that need to find their feet incredibly quickly. So I think the fans will give him a reasonable amount of slack, because the problems at the club don't start and end with Valerian Ismael. It doesn't really matter who's in the dugout, to be perfectly honest. If you're operating in an environment as we are at the moment, where the parent just kind of is willfully neglecting us, it's very, very difficult to have anything other than sympathy for him, to be truthful. I think he's struggling yet to find a style of play with these players. He seems to pass the passing the ball a lot more than I anticipated. I had been warned by a West Brom supporting mate of mine that it was going to be long ball, Allardyce style football. It's not been like that, to be fair. But it's all very well and good passing out from the back if you've got good players and you've got midfielders who can turn defence into attack really, really quickly, and you've got clinical finishers. And right now, I don't think we have a dependable goalkeeper, a solid back four. The only creative midfielder we now have is Todd Cantwell, and the forwards, there's just a massive burden on them. So Ohashi was here last year, and he chipped in with a number of goals, but he kind of needs to do that and more this season. High hopes on Morishita, or however you pronounce it. He apparently was the club's #1 target throughout the summer. and eventually they've sort of like nailed him down. He came on for a sort of like cameo appearance against Birmingham City, another little sprint down the left wing and clipped a really nice crossing, but with nobody in the middle because he won't. Ismael doesn't like Maktar Gay, who was the massive lump of a centre forward that we signed last year. And Ohashi needs to play off someone. So that forward line looks completely imbalanced. It looks like we need to either completely rejig it or find a way of playing through it. But the big unknown, as we said, is Good Johnson. We haven't seen him yet. So is he a target man, or is he someone that wants to play like Ohashi, sort of like on the deck, but slightly deeper? So there's just so many question marks. It's really difficult to know what we're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting, the number of Japanese players, and obviously players from all sorts of foreign markets, but so many in Japan who've been led by, Celtic as well, and obviously Birmingham have now got the lad you've had to come, because these guys come in and they're technically excellent.
Terrific work rate as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's one thing that you do get. You get sort of that dedication. And Ohashi has a couple of little rituals when he comes on and comes off the field, where he sort of like bows to the to the pitch and things like that. And Morishita has been wheeled out on club social media. I mean, he must have been a godsend for them in a week where they were desperate for some good news to hide the Dom Hyam sale. They've sort of like had him modelling every single item in the club shop and putting that across all the social media channels. Yeah, come to the club shop tomorrow and meet Morishita, and he will sign your new shirt and all this sort of stuff. Well, are there any other players in the squad? So I think he's already starting to get a sense of how the club is run.
I love it. Well, I had, when I was coaching over in Aylesbury, and Aylesbury had a college which was one of the first to have football going on at the time. So in the Aylesbury United youth team, which is what I started off doing something with, we had a player who had come across from Japan. And his name was Masafumi Saiki. Fantastic little player. We played him in the hole in a 3-4-1-2. He was in the hole. Wonderful stuff. And he loved it. He played. We had a fantastic season. And as it's drawing closer to the end of the season, and he's going to have to go back home. He's not wanting to go back home. He really wants to stay. And my assistant manager said to him, Massa, that's what we called him, Massa, when you go home, what are you going to miss the most? And you can almost hear the harp springing up with kind of this is going to be tugging the heart, because he's really formed with the group. We've had a fantastic season. Everything's gone, and Massa just went Guinness. yeah, and we're the youth team managers, and the one thing we've got into excellent. We've got the lad into stout, if nothing else. Never mind. Well, we talk there about free agents. I don't know. I'm sure Massa is probably available. There is a free agent available who we both know well. And this week he's been talking on Sky because he's been linked with Celtic. Just have a little look at this.
Have you in the studio. Please come back again and see us when you're at your new club. We wish you well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
Yeah, bye.
Brilliant. Oh, he's gone.
No fucking hanging around there from him. No. Emmanuel Dennis, you had him at the back of last season. Now he is one of these people who splits the room. He just splits this room because I quite like him still, and Justin not so much.
We've had him twice. The first time he was okay. The second time I didn't think much of him, and I think they hyped his arrival up far too much. And to have him a third time, I think would be a terrible idea. I'm not a big fan of Emmanuel Dennis, I have to say. Ian, what do you think?
I would echo your view, Justin, based on there's a lot of anecdotal evidence flying around about the first impression that he created on the training ground. And of course, you never know how many of these stories are true. But even if only one of them's true, then good riddance to bad rubbish, I think would be the conclusion. On the field, he had a chance to make a name for himself at Bramall Lane in that final game last year. A cross came in and he had an unmarked header, and it was nearer the corner flag than the near post. And I think at that moment, everybody sort of said, "Get him out, get him away from the club." There are one or two people sort of saying, "Oh, I noticed it, Emmanuel Dennis." No. Please, no.
Exactly. No, me too. No.
If that's not a segue into be careful what you wish for. I really don't know what is. And I think we've already sort of touched on it, but where is everybody? Where is everybody with the Venkies at the moment? They had previously announced at one point that they were
What is that
then,
chicken? What is that chicken there?
they sell chicken, don't they? They're a chicken manufacturer, is Venkies.
But
So
it's
somebody's got
dressed in something.
That was that's the famous chicken in the Wigan home game, isn't it? Where somebody smuggled one in and threw him onto the pitch when they got relegated from the Premier League.
You're asking me why I don't know what that is, and now I'm glad.
Well, you should recognise a chicken. I'll give you the context, but it is a chicken.
Yes, but the fact it was thrown on a pitch at a Wigan game, I perhaps had been lost on me slightly, I think. But anyway,
I'm presuming that's why. I can't recall another one being smuggled in with a bandana on. I think the turnstile procedures have been tightened up since then, it's fair to say.
Did anybody work out whether or not he managed to get home from Wigan, or did he end up on
that was at Rovers, that was at Ewood.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
It was our final home game that confirmed our relegation from the Premier League, of course, from which we've never returned and show no signs of being able to return in the near future.
I was just wondering if it was a homing chicken, but never mind. I think we've done the chicken in this particular scenario. There are another two gentlemen and a name and a banner in this, which I think maybe we ought to be focusing on more.
Yes.
What's the current position? Because obviously it's an ongoing saga, but where are we currently?
Yeah, I mean, there are a number of supporters who will sort of say, where's the fit and proper persons test and this, that, and the other. And the reality of it is, Venki's pay the bills. So unlike Chancery, as you guys know, I live in Sheffield. So unlike Chancery, they are paying the bills. They might not be paying them with a smile on their face, but they are paying the bills. It's very difficult to pin anything on them. The fit and proper persons test doesn't allow the fans to vote out an owner that they think is incompetent. So as long as they abide by all the rules, and in the UK, they are doing that. However, there has been a court case in India, which has been going on for quite some time, which seems to have reached pretty much a resolution now where any constraint on them being able to send money over from India now appears to have been lifted. That's in the last 2 or 3 days, in point of fact. Oh, wow. Coincidentally, just after the window had closed. But the context around Venki's seems absolutely crystal clear now. And for that, I am grateful. We really don't want to keep sending money over to Lancashire. So could you reduce your costs and wash your face? Now, what we suspect has happened is they've looked at the sale of Adam Wharton and thought, well, one of those every couple of years, and this won't be a problem. But the one we had before Adam Wharton was Damien Duff. So you're probably talking, 15 years ago. So it's not quite as straightforward. So we've not only now sold the family silver, we've sold the stamp collection. We've sold off those SO tokens that used to collect at petrol stations. We're going through the pewter and the pottery to see if there's anything there. There's nothing left to sell. So after this season, if they still maintain this stance, it's very difficult to see anything other than relegation being on the cards. Because if they want to have a wage bill that's we can afford, then we're talking at least League One, if not League Two levels. So, our nearest rivals could very soon become Accrington Stanley rather than Burnley, which is a thought as quite a salutary sort of like, welcome back to reality, guys. This is what it's looking like. So we just don't know why they continue to own us. We never knew why they bought us. We never knew why they did so many things, and now we don't know why they continue to own us if they don't want to put money in. Just, get rid.
Just go on. No. Well, as we say, be careful what you wish for. And there we go. That was our first chat with Ian. Obviously, coming up in just a minute or two is Untenable, which is as reassuringly bad as you would come to remember it. But a couple of things really there. I think, wonderful, kind of histrionics and issues with the owner, players being signed from lower league European places, all sorts of we're not the only ones who go through these periods. Others do as well. But I thought what was very, very impressive, very interesting was the idea of protest chickens, because I don't know how on earth would you get a chicken past our stewards? I'm not sure you would. I think you'd have to go for a more manageable form of bird.
This needs to be asked. I think the strangest thing you've seen brought into a football ground. Last year, myself and Cole Campion did see someone bringing a pumpkin in around Halloween time. So someone was bringing a full-size pumpkin, which is a bit odd because I'm not quite sure how that, came in with the stewards and the way they are. But bringing a live chicken in, I mean, that is peculiar. How that came in, no idea. Very strange.
I did like the fact that it was wearing a Blackburn Rovers bandana, because when we spoke to prior to the last Luton game, which coincidentally we won 2-0, by the way, it was we did the club shop challenge, and there's a series of dog bandanas. I'm not sure whether or not this is a separate product range that either the Hornet shop or indeed any other club might want to be entertained. Chicken bandanas might be the way forward.
If we do start a Shopify, there you go, Peter. Chicken bandanas, make sure they're on there. That's
Excellent.
what we need.
Excellent. I think everybody is probably saying this, which is enough of this shit, Pete. Let's get to Untenable. I agree with you. Let's do it. Let's do it now. We're now going to explain to Ian what the fuck's going to happen now. He has no idea. But we are going to play our new game, which is called Untenable. Not tenable for copyright purposes, ITV, but untenable. Entirely different thing. Not the same at all. The current scores are the EFL, for whom Ian will be representing 2, Justin 1. Now, Justin has an idea sometimes that this might be involving a player who has played for both clubs. However, on this occasion, it is not that. It will not be that. We are playing the Championship biggest stadium capacities. So, what I'm going to be asking you to do in turn is basically go through and tell me a ground in the current season that you think may be in the top 10 capacities, and its capacity is the score you get. So if you get the biggest one, you've got a better chance of obviously winning the game overall, and we'll find out how we get going. However, if you miss the target twice, it goes over to the opponent and you're out. So, 2 strikes and you are out. So, Ian, over to you, sir. Which club do you suspect might be in the top 10 for the Championship capacities?
Let's go Southampton.
He's going for Southampton. So whereabouts are we? It's 6. He's started well. The capacity there is 32,384. A fine start, if you don't mind me saying so. Justin, you're already just over 32,000 points behind, but that's not a problem for you. You can recover.
Yes.
Which club would you suggest has the biggest ground capacity in the Championship?
I like
That's the exhale I like to hear.
Well, Leicester City.
He's going for Leicester City. It 1 through to 10, all the way back. Let's see where he comes in. 32,259. Justin, very good indeed. I'm quite impressed with that. That's not too bad. We're very, very close. Ian, back over to you. Round 2.
There's all those copycat bowls, aren't there, in the Championship? So I'm going to choose one of those next. I'll go for Middlesbrough.
He's going for Middlesbrough. There we go. Up at the Riverside. And you're doing this based on the fact that it's another kind of bowl and something that looks a bit uninteresting. Let's see where it goes. 34,742. Ian goes up to a total figure of 67,126 points. You can't deny it. We give a lot of points here. I think this is a very good idea. Justin, who are you going to go for? Only 3 have gone. 7 still remain. But of course, there's the balance of the Championship. You could still go wrong yet further. Who are you going for?
Bighorn Borough. I think you said last time when I mentioned Coventry, you said it wasn't full of the time, but I remember you giving a fairly decent size capacity. So I'm going to go for Coventry City.
Nice. I'm going to have to explain that, obviously, to Ian as to what we did with that one. But there we go. Coventry. As the sound goes all over the place, it's 32,609. The scores, as we stand, Ian is leading on 67,126 points. Justin is in hot pursuit with 64,868. Before we get to round 3, I should explain to Ian that what we did, we did a similar one of this, but it was who fills their ground the most. And Coventry didn't, so he's had similar. So he's had a bit of things here. That's all right. That's okay. Let's get back to the game. Ian, sir, who are you going for?
Well, I live in Sheffield, and it used to be an FA Cup semi-final venue, and the City Council have recently let them reopen the North Stand. So I'm going to go for Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday.
Sheffield Wednesday is what he is saying. Hold on, it's gone wrong. What's happened? There you go. That's why we pre-record this.
Get in.
Look at that, 39,732, but not very full normally. Ian has done it. He's bust through the 100,000, 106,858. Justin, you're going to have to stay in hot pursuit to get up there. What are you going for?
Oh, I don't know. Let's go for the whatever it is these days, the Britannia or the Bet365, wherever it is, the Stoke City.
He's going for Stoke City, everybody. Let's see where that comes to. Oh, it sneaks in there at the bottom, which is, well, you can say what you want to that, really. 3089. Let's see what the scores are. It would help, of course, if I put it in the right place on the spreadsheet, which is now even worse than normal. 94,900 versus 106,000. Ian, this is yours to keep. I would suggest if you just bat through here, you're doing solidly. But there's only 4 left. I'm going to
play the percentage game. I did say there were some copycat bowls in the Championship, and if Middlesbrough's up there, I'm pretty sure it's the same designer that designed what was, I don't know if it's still called Pride Park, but Derby County.
He's going for Derby County. Oh, Justin, bit of exhaling going on there. You weren't happy with that.
My next decision. Oh, look at this, Peter.
Oh, the man knows of what he speaks. I mean, let's be honest. He's a Blackburn fan, but he lives in Sheffield. He clearly gets about.
And I used to work in Derby as well, and we used to sponsor Derby County back in the day, the place I worked at. So.
This is good. It's only going to take one of you. It's only going to take one of you to slightly miss, and then the other is in like Flynn. Justin, I'm still trying to pretend there's jeopardy involved in this. You need a good one here, Just. What are you going to go for?
Let's think.
I'm enjoying the sound effects, by the way.
Yes. So Birmingham's not fully open, is it, St Andrews? But I imagine if all the stands were allowed to be open, it's a fairly sizable stadium. I'll go for St Andrews. I'll go for Birmingham City.
He goes for Birmingham City. No,
is that because the stands are closed?
No, you can't try and get around it on a technicality. There's 29,409 seats, which is St Andrews in its full and thorough wonderfulness, but it's not. Justin has 1x against him, which means, let's face it, this game is even more in Ian's hands. Ian, sir, you've got the chance. This is, he's missed a penalty. This is a chance for you to almost make it certain.
I've got to be honest, St Andrews was going to be my next choice. So I'm grateful for you taking the hit there. Dare I think Ewood Park is 32,000, but I don't know if I'm going to say Ewood Park. I think that might come in at 9th.
Look at this. He's trying to play home advantage. Not 9. It's 8, 31,367. I must confess, I did wonder whether or not, kind of cruelty and fate would see you maybe being rumbled by Ewood Park. Justin, you've got to keep the pressure on for the final penalty here. Who are you going to go for?
Let's go for another Midlands team then. Let's go for the Hawthorns. Let's go for West Brom.
Oh, what an answer. What an answer. Unfortunately, the wrong answer. No, the Hawthorns 26,850. it's all over bar the shouting. But come on, Ian, you can, at the moment, you're on 171,151, whereas Justin is on 94,957.
And these points get converted to cash afterwards, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I think we can probably leave this game now, can't we?
Yeah. Exactly. If you're familiar with the now defunct Italian lira, then yes. Otherwise, no. Let's go to Ian. What's a fifth and ninth are available? What do you think they could be?
Well, there's another former Premier League side with a ground that used to host cricket matches as well in Sheffield. So let's go Bramall Lane.
Oh, look at this. It's not a clean sweep, not quite. Who's going to be ninth? Ian, over to you. You can you've already broken 200,000, 203,000. What are you going to go for as the final top 10 ground?
Again, thinking about this, same as that bowls, but I don't think it's that big. I was wondering where do I say it? Let's go Hull City.
He's going for Hull City.
No, I wasn't as confident on that, I have to say.
No, you've only got the 1x, so you still have one more guess.
So we're looking somewhere about 31,000. Let's try Ashton Gate, Bristol City.
Ooh. Bristol City. It's as Roy Walker would say, it's a good answer.
No,
but it's not right.
Is it going to be one of the East Anglian teams, Norwich or Ipswich?
It is Ipswich Town. The final scores, Justin, a very creditable 94,957, but Ian, triumphant with 203,201. Very, very good indeed. Let's just get to the give you the ranks as they stand there. Wrexham down at the bottom, which is obviously where they should be in the league, but never mind. Oxford United with their current ground capacity with 3 sides. QPR, Watford only in 18th. So are we batting above our average? Who knows? You tell me. But there you go. There's all that lot. But everybody over 30,000 gets into the top 10. There you go. A triumph for the EFL, Ian. Well done, sir.
Yes.
What?
This is going to be a long season for me. I feel I've got a feeling.
Whenever is it not a long season for you? Never mind.
Yes, well, there we go. Reassuringly disappointing effort from me there. Well done, Ian, on your victory. So it's 3-1 now to the EFL, presumably.
It is indeed, and there is confirmation, if it were needed, on the official Untenable league title that, yes, you're losing 3-1. Never mind. Yep. Disappointing as ever. Who knows what the next category might be? I'll tell you who doesn't know, and that's Justin. I think though, however, you reckon. Okay. Well, you got the glasses now, so you can at least kind of shift that look. I think it's definitely time, because we try to bring this in around an hour. We're on 57 minutes, so let's see if we can get into what must absolutely be
DNSYE completely rubbish prediction league.
No! God, please, no!
You see, before everybody watched us do this on YouTube, we would fuck about at that point, and nobody knew. But never mind. Let's see the league table from 2 weeks ago. Rather disappointing for all concerned, because only the Patreons who went for a 2-2 draw, therefore, because they predicted the right score difference, got 2 points. So at the moment, AFC Postbox is up top with 6 points. Patreons are on 4. The EFL for Ian is mid-table with 3. Backgammon FC, which is, of course, if you remember, Brett coming up with various strange dice kind of based things going on, and DNSYE has yet to fire. Justin, have you got any comments to make about this before we go through the predictions for the forthcoming game against Blackburn?
No, I'd rather just see what everybody else has picked and then pluck a random score out of the air afterwards.
Excellent. Well, in that case, let's get to AFC Postbox first of all with Colin, our postman from Margate, who's generally kind of pulling in other posties in Margate area to kind of take this on. He looks in very small post boxes on a particular estate. There's about 12 that he can choose from, and Justin has said that well, that's not a very big post box. No, they're not. They're very small. However, it doesn't mean you don't find unpleasant things there. So his forecast was Watford 3. Blackburn too, but the eagle-eyed amongst you will see that on the left there's what looks like 4 letters. No, that's an NHS sample pouch. That's right. Posties have to come along and pick up people's poo. There you go. Colin's gone 3-2 to Watford. I'm quite pleased with that. That seems reasonable. I think we should let's get to the Patreons, because sometimes they'll forward emails and sometimes they'll forward videos and sometimes they'll just. But Mal Williams of the Blue Cheese Northwest Express just went, it's 3-1 to the Horns. It's 3-1 to the Horns, and that was it. That was all we had. 3-1. That's good. I like that very much. Brett, as we all know, does strange things with dice. Here's today's effort. Now you need to know that Brett actually is a musician. Well, he's a drummer, but it's as close as he's going to get. And here he is in a very plush editing and recording studio, not necessarily being as productive as they should be.
Prediction League, Watford versus Blackburn at Vicarage Road. We're going to roll the dice for Watford. Oh, yeah. Because we're at home. Let's do it. 5 minus 1 is 4 to Watford.
Correct.
Maths is still top form. 5 minus 2 is 3. It's 4-3 to Watford. Superb.
Well, we shall see.
We shall see.
That's how I imagine your desk to look like when you're doing the spaces. Very much like that, Peter.
Yes. No, I have to say, I think the producer, the video or the music producer there, had a very excellent hipster beard, something of which I'm absolutely incapable of having, going towards the ball head at an accelerating rate. But other than that, I don't think that look's going to really work out for me. So what have we got? We've got Backgammon FC have gone 4-3. So a thrilling game in blue and yellow. I mean, everybody's going to want to buy a souvenir shirt for that. You can now buy a souvenir shirt for the game, obviously. No longer programs, but what the hell. Patreons have gone 3-1 and AFC Postbox have gone 3-2. Before we get to Justin's inevitable awful prediction, let's see what Ian decided. Score you wish. 1-1 is now back in play. We've taken out all of the complication and tried to slim it down in a the current scores are around the level of public apathy that they have towards this. What do you think the score is going to be when Rovers visit?
Well, as I recall, for the Ewood fixture at the back end of last season, I predicted the correct score, and I think I predict so that will be 1-0, wouldn't it? So. Yep. I think I'll go with that again. 1-0 to Rovers.
Oh, he's gone nil.
I'm ignoring all the evidence.
Not happening.
Going with the heart, not the head.
Right. So everybody who heard everything that Ian said earlier on about we've got no forwards, we've got a forward line that Derek Payne isn't going to be able to pronounce ever anyway from Japan. So that's fine. That'll play in with Iran Kunda and everybody else. And we've got no midfielders other than Flouncy Cantwell. We need a goalkeeper and we've got no back four. Then turns around and goes, yeah, I think we'll win 1-0 because it's Blackburn. And that's what they'll turn up and do. So there we go. 1-0 to Blackburn. Justin, we need to turn to you, and with your sharp eye, or your eye that's sort of working well, with your glasses on, what are you going to say Saturday so that these good people can get off and have their dinner?
2-0 to Watford. Nestori Irankunda free kick. You're
not worried that he's going to be jet lagged from playing in New Zealand?
No, he's going to be fantastic, as he always is, Peter. Very exciting player. It's going to be 2-0 to Watford.
I have to say, the last 5 predictions that Justin has made have been 3-0 to Watford, 1-0 to Watford, 2-0 to Watford, 2-0 to Watford, and the QPR game, the one game where we won, he went 1-1. So I'm just saying, this new positive element.
Yes,
have you
noticed? Yeah, I'm enjoying the football, Peter. But then I did say that this time last season. I wasn't saying that after Christmas. So let's wait and see.
I'm heartily impressed. And look, that sounds more or less done. But I think the thing we need to talk about is Elton has come up with a nice new blue kit for everybody, and some people think it's affordable, and some people think it's going to be a difficult one. I always look at it like this: I could buy a nice new Watford item, or I could feed my children. Those children need to lose a bit of weight. That's what I'm saying.
I see. Please like and subscribe, everybody, and we will see you before the match outside the ground somewhere. Haven't quite decided where yet. Probably in the red line, maybe in the new fan zone, maybe down the bunker. All of them, perhaps. But do come and say hello. We'll get you on the socials, on TikTok, etc. That they seem to be going very well. There will be a random couple of questions thrown at you by Carl. I'll be filming it. Just come and look for us. And
if you wish to go on the socials, you can just come up and say hello. It's always nice to say hello. We're very sociable people. That's the nice thing. You don't have to go on video.
No, no, but we'd like you to. So yeah.
Well, I'm not counting Carl in that, but me and Justin, we're okay. That's fine. Right. Yeah. Okay, guys. See you Saturday, and we'll be back obviously on the spaces thereafter. Next week there will be a bit coming out where we sat down this week and had a chat with a world record holder, and it was a lot of fun. And it'll be coming out. So that's a big edit job that I'm halfway through. So we'll see that. But in the meantime, have a good evening, everyone.
You ons.